The island of Newfoundland, located on the northeast tip of North America, is home to a very unique culture. This beautiful island, surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean, is infamous throughout Canada for its unique language. Being part of Canada augments how unique this dialect of English is. Canadians often compare the Newfoundland dialect to what is more commonly spoken on the mainland and tend to view this dialect in a subservient way. Whether it be due to the isolated nature of living on an island or the rich history of immigration known to these people, Newfoundland has a very unique way of speaking. The history behind this language is something that holds much beauty and should be celebrated.
The three main groups that colonized this island were the Scottish, the Irish, and the English. This mix of people living together and influencing each other's speech throughout many generations was the birth of Newfoundland English. Some characteristics of Newfoundland English have become trademarks to the dialect. This dialect has some of its own vocabulary that is not used in standard Canadian English. These specific words are brought by the influence of many different settlers, and the roots behind them are not always known.
For example, the word law.
The word law is the same as look here, or see, you see what I'm telling you? Look is what I'm telling you. Or look there, law would be used in that context.
The usage of law has increased over the last few generations. Some adjectives unique to this island is the use of the word mozzie to describe a drizzly, foggy day, or the word fousty to describe mold. Both of these words have dropped significantly in their usage. There are even distinctive nouns in this dialect, such as skeet and streel, which are derogatory terms often used when describing people who are a bit rough-looking.
Like, geez, look at them skeets. Jeez.
Skeet has been steadily increasing since 1950.
The accent varies across the island, but any form of Newfoundland accent is distinct from the standard Canadian accent. Some feature of this accent are interdental stopping, in which the th sound are replaced with a d. The tendency to use interdental stopping has been up and down since the 50s, but overall has remained relatively stable. What makes the speech of this island its own dialect is a unique grammar system that it has. Speakers may use the conjugation of the subject you with any subject. For example, they may say I loves it instead of I love it.
I loves it. That's a complete breakage of grammatical rules in English. But people know what you're talking about. It's completely normal out around the bay. But from an English standpoint, I think that's definitely wrong.
They abandon the rules of grammar with the sentences in certain cases, such as using I'm after doing something and he's not what he's at.
As time goes on and new generations are exposed to different media, technology, education, and accessibility, the usage of different characteristics of this language are changing. As the world is becoming more globalized, the media is influencing children to speak in a more standard American way. The education system is graded using the mindset that Newfoundland English is not as smart as standard Canadian English.
Well, in school we were always encouraged to use standardized English, not Newfoundland. If we did, that was considered wrong. And yeah, in more like professional settings, we would be, encouraged to use standardized English as well, like speaking. It was sort of frowned upon to use Newfoundland dialect because it doesn't sound, I guess, as smart. That's kind of what's drilled into our heads. So.
Students are encouraged to avoid using Newfoundland English as much as possible. The Canadian government takes pride in being diverse and welcoming all different cultures. If this is something that they are so proud of, then why would they teach children from Newfoundland to speak and write like the majority of the country?
The island of Newfoundland is a beautiful place filled with lots of culture and warm, caring people. The history that has shaped this island and the uniqueness that it brings is something that should be celebrated.
Newfoundlanders take pride in their history and pride in their culture, as they should, because this island is something that should be celebrated by the people who call it home.
And wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
I am proud to be from Newfoundland.
Overall, usage of the features of this dialect have fluctuated throughout the generations. Certain features have been favored over others. Although students in recent years have been discouraged from using Newfoundland English, at the end of the day, Newfoundlanders take pride in their identity and will continue to speak the way they are taught in their communities.
In school, the youth of today are taught proper English, but I don't know, I guess the Newfoundland roots are deeper than what they learn in school, because they still talk like a pure Newfoundlander.
The fact that this dialect has continued to survive throughout the radical times of globalization proves that the history woven into the roots of this dialect will withstand the test of time.